series so far.
This is what the coaches must have been talking about as well, with changing up the playstyle. Now we're seeing Zappis on the Zarya, Davin on the Sombra, and they've only had a week to practice. Remember, lads at home, like, this is very, very good from Team Gigantti to completely switch things up here and change up their team mentality completely. Going on beautiful. Jonah is now on the Zarya.
The hack there from Molf actually forced out the issue, made Davin go back early, so he wasn't able to get all the ult charge he wanted to from that one. He was the warden there, sending them back. Fire Strike will find Milky Man on the high ground, but he's healed up quite easily. They press through security, and they invite Team Gigantti to come and join them. The anti-nade's good. I don't think Team Gigantti had taken the fight to as much as they should have right then, and have really abused that lack of healing that they had and set them constantly playing at a deficit. Now they're going to roll back onto the point and push Team Gigantti away into Cafe. They spotted where the Sombra was, and they really want to catch Davin off guard here. They're going to hack up Zappis, but he gets the bubbles back online and gives it just in time for Milky Man to press forward. So they thought lands the crown up, he gets back, and now Jonah's going on the flank to try and displace him. But he immediately walks into the hack, and then he's boot back onto the ground.
To do that under pressure as well is pretty impressive. Does remove a lot of that pressure from Lilbo on the high ground, but they're focusing much more on that shield break. Crandop currently low, and the shield is out, so now Team Gigantti can engage.
Need to pump the healing into Jonah. Nano Boost going straight into the Reinhardt, but the Shatter sends everyone back, finding free, as Yickwids will go down with a rally in his pocket. Crandop gonna have to try and get towards that Shatter, but I think the fight's already over at this point, unless he wants to flip it all around. But you can see he's walking back. He's got nothing left in his shield juice, and they're going to be in retreat. Team Gigantti deflect the first offense.
Currently Morphig in deficit compared to Davin. Davin now got that EMP online, but no shot to combo with it. So it's going to be either that Graviton or that Anti-Nade coming to this next one. Young and Beautiful, FD good. Got the Soundbarrier, so there can be a counter here. He has been pretty good with it so far, but Davin currently hiding, looking for that sneaky Lucio.
He's taken the long flank. He's gone rack round security, just trying to stay out of the line of sight of the fight. And like you said, Blank, he wants to find the Lucio. He wants to make it sure. They've already committed the EMP of their own. He has to go into match. He finds free, and Team Gigantti reward him with everything they need. Now the ults come back into play, but Lilbo, after finding two, will still keep hold of his sound barrier, and the Shadow from Milky Man coming online as well. Team Gigantti push this in to sub 2 minute time.
Completely demolished there. Is Young and Beautiful. They try and make their way in, but I think by playing split to force out the EMP earlier, Team Gigantti are just very happy to wait around for Crandop to engage, and then they apply a ton of pressure into them. And even though the sound barrier comes out pretty much instantaneously, that still gives the milliseconds available to Team Gigantti just shred through Crandop.
Zappis are back at the Nano Boost online as well. May not need to use it because Milky Man's got that Shadow. They're pressing into him. The rally's there. Graviton Surge holds Milky Man in place. Crandop gets the Nano Boost. They have to match it. Charges him to isolate him from the team. Sound Barrier just catches him out at the end there. He's stunned up as he flips around. Yickwids has been hacked up, so he can't bash him potentially out this Shadow that's about to come. Knocked on the door by the Sleep Dart. They're just going to kill him instead. They don't want to have to deal with it. A lot of members split off to the right-hand side. They could have gone for the Shatter there, but he may have run into a hack or the shield from Yickwids.
No value found SR from those ultimates. Team Gigantti got two online. The Shatter and the EMP coming up very shortly, as well as this Grav.
Walks behind it! Milky Man delivers on time every morning. Fresh bottle right there on your doorstep. 40 seconds remaining. Young and Beautiful will only have a Shatter and that sound barrier to play with unless Molf or Hooney pull their fingers out.
Davin can pull this fight out very quickly towards the begin there. 20 seconds remaining means he can go for an early EMP. And if FD God doesn't get the sound barrier online very quickly, the Young and Beautiful, all hopes of taking point A could be dashed away from them in front of their eyes.
The series is over if Young and Beautiful fail to capture right here, because at minimum they won't get a win. Gigantti had guaranteed a draw and had guaranteed the series win. Davin in the same position he was last time, ready with that EMP. Crandop on the ground, but he might just be EMP'd out this altogether as he moves in. He spotted Molf, he knows where he is, he wants to hack them all up. There it is, 4 members down. FD God and Hooney pump their ults in. The rest of the team stabilizes. They're ready to keep this up. They push Milky Man into the fight as the Nano Boosted Crandop walks forward. He's stunned out, a little bit too early to catch the Shatter, but Jonah's already found Milky Man.
Here's Crandop, has the Earth Shatter, does have it available. Davin's going up in the air. Zuppe has a Nano Boost to keep this one going.
Trading it back and forth. Young and Beautiful are on point. They have gone over 33%, so it's looking good for them right now. Ult's still available for Team Gigantti, but the bodies on the point aren't. They're stalling as long as they can. Davin milking ult charge, but he has to translocate out. There is no recontest potential here for Team Gigantti. The escort section of Hybrid has been opened up.
Good thing for Young and Beautiful, though, is they hold on some ultimates here, understanding that they really do need them if they want to be able to push through point B in 2 minutes 23 here. They do not have a lot of time to get through street. Molfig this time, he is catching up with Davin's ultimate charge, which has been blindingly quick to getting these EMPs, almost always getting them faster than Molfig.
He used that translocator on cooldown, I think. He was nearly dead there if he didn't get that bubble from Jonah. And that could have been really bad for Molf, especially if he caught out at this pivotal point in the contest. Going to drop that grab onto the floor. Milky Man's got the nano boost, but he can't walk forward because he grabbed, then shatter. Sound barrier has to come out. Just on the back end of that nano boost will he finally be able to deal damage, and it's just enough to get crowned up. He presses forward, and Team Gigantti will take control of the payload.
Davin's flanks during these counter grabs have been absolutely sublime. On the side of it, he is constantly applying pressure, applying damage. And not only is he killing members, he's charging up to an EMP. And even though Molfig, you can see him desperately in the front line, just peppering the members of Team Gigantti. Davin, very happy, just in those few seconds to get an EMP of his own. Now Young and Beautiful, all they're sitting on is that EMP and the nano boost. This anti-nade has to be big, but there's so much high ground for Team Gigantti to play around. It's so difficult to get a big anti-nade here.
Goes in with a translocator. There's the EMP finding free. Shatter to follow up as well. Milky Man knocks them all on their back. The CC game is strong for Team Gigantti, but they've been EMP themselves, and the anti-nade has come in. Momentum was in their favor. The charge off the back of the sleep, isolating Crowned up for Davin to finish them off. Young and Beautiful, they're running out of steam, and they don't have coal to replenish the engine.
It's just too late from Molfig as well. Milky Man's able to get off the big shatter at the beginning there. Through Molfig's EMP, I think the shadow just hit the floor as the lights went out. But Team Gigantti now, with Nano Boost and a grab, every time they are cycling out these EMP rotations, they have something new to finish up the next fight with. It's very, very smart. FD God just has never been able to get a good recontest with this sound barrier.
Nice grab from Zappis. Milky Man's already found Jonah as we enter final fight territory. Crandall commits the shatter, and the sound barrier comes out. Morph hacked up, and Hooney's on his back based off the shatter. You're right, Blank. You called it right there. Young and Beautiful can only throw corpses at the payload unless a miracle comes in. The charge from Mr. Crandall wasn't enough. He gets cut down. Team Gigantti end Yab's run just after it begins.
Now Young and Beautiful, they're the ones that have to play on the defense here, and it's going to have to be one heck of a defense if they want to even hope to match or win here versus Team Gigantti. Not far after point A did they stop them. And again, if I go back to what Team Gigantti is doing, is that they are doing these EMP rotations wonderfully so far. It's not been a time where EMP has come out and they've not won the fight immediately afterwards. And I think maybe FD God, I just think he has to predict these EMPs even quicker. It's a really big ask for FD God as well, because he's throwing out these sound barriers as fast as he can. Doesn't matter though, because every single time a sound barrier goes down, a player on Young and Beautiful is already dead. And I think that's just a testament to Team Gigantti's focus fire. You mentioned it early in the series. It's just insane.
It's too good from Team Gigantti. That's kind of what you expect from a roster that's played together for so long. I think this is the longest standing 5-man unit, apart from British Hurricane, in Contenders this season. We based about all the roster changes that happened. The only change that happened between this season and the last was swapping out Facility for Leaf. And even then, you know, that's not that much of a change-up.
Leaf does his own thing anyway.
Leaf does his own thing, but he's playing so well in Team Gigantti right now. He's managed to fit like a glove, and it's really paying dividends for this Finnish roster. Now it's Young and Beautiful on the defense. Moss still staying on that Sombra. Young and Beautiful, the line has been drawn. This map loses, they will lose this series, and Team Gigantti, they're in a prime position to take away the #1 spot at the end of week 4.
Yab were on a tear at the beginning of the season. Team Gigantti still finding their footing, but now the boots are placed firmly on the ground for Team Gigantti. They are ready to start coming back in this season and place themselves on the top.
Molf, he got hacked up. That's weird. The animation came in just after he translocated out as well, so he will get away, but he's hacked in the safety of his team. It's going to work out just fine. It's one of those blink and you miss it moments, Blank.
Yeah, not already. Young and Beautiful are dropping down quite early. Morphig looking for somewhere to go. Really good position from Team Gigantti. Here it means that Morphig can't get into the backline so easily and start peppering them. And even if he does, he has to take the long flank round. So now Morphig's forced to fight from the front lines, which is not favorable for him whatsoever.
I'm getting 2018 flashbacks. This is always what Gigantti used to do. They pivot around, take the cafe away from the defending team. Zappis going to be lent a lifeline by Zappe. Misses the sleep dart on Molfday. He's already caught him once. He won't be gifted a second time. A lot of attention being paid on the good damage over time. Won't find FD God. Crandop's pressing forward. Shadow drop down. 3 on the floor. Crandop looking to answer back if he can just get some ult charge on the board. Yigwood's hacked up so he can't help him. FD God farms in and finds Leaf. And they push him in the corner. Tries to go for the charge. But the hammer, the 75 damage was enough to execute him off the map. Team Gigantti have a strong foothold, but they haven't sealed the deal just yet.
No, they haven't. Morphig taken down there with a great anti-nade coming out from Zuppe. They just completely removed him from the fight, deleted him. I think Young and Beautiful cannot stand tall on this point anymore. 1 minute 30 burn, but now they're going to be coming into the next point with so much time remaining. Almost 4 minutes 50, I believe. Young and Beautiful, they now have to use these 5 ultimates really conservatively.
It's going to be rough. It's going to be so rough for Young and Beautiful. They do have the tools to match them, but do they have the craftsmanship to make a fine cabinet? We're going to find out as they move on to this second section of this map. But if they don't keep track of Davin and he gets an EMP off, that may just seal the deal.
Problem here is that you've got an EMP. You've also got a lot of ultimates on the side of Young and Beautiful. You really want to use those ultimates first, but you're also scared of Davin with the EMP, so it's just a lot of miscommunication. Communication could just break down here for Young and Beautiful. Crandop once again sleeping.
Nano boost committed. Honey will be hacked up on the back line, but he's already got his ult up. Crandop catches off Leaf. The rally should sustain him throughout this, though. Not going so well for Young and Beautiful, and they've still got 4 minutes to burn. They're not even going to survive that. The EMP comes in, and it finds multiple members of Yab. The sound barrier is good from FD God. They throw it down to find 3 with the Earth Shadow, and Milky Man will take out Crandop with the charge. Jonah gonna fall down to his own damage, and you called it, Blank. It's all over. Team Gigantti gonna walk this in and take the series with a 3-0 scoreline.
Huge plays from Team Gigantti there, Tridd. Huge plays indeed. I think Molfig, if I saw that correctly, I think he actually got cancelled out of his EMP because no one was affected on the side of Team Gigantti there. And then it's just an easy EMP for Davin in the end of the day. So incredible overall for Team Gigantti. I think they've really brought it back in a big way.
We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we're going to bring you map number 4. So shortly, as you're going to find out, that's our final map, and it feels weird to be able to say that with confidence that it finally is our final map, because we've had a lot of 5-map series so far this season. Team Gigantti, in the theme of Week 4, is going for Overwatch, Young and Beautiful. Want to be walking away with the consolation prize of at least 1 map win here.
They really do. I think if you want to come back from this one, you want to stay towards the middle of the pack. You do not want to get 4 Overwatched at this point in time, right, Tridd? Because you might be sent down to the lower brackets of the standings at this position with a 4-0. Mm-hmm. You want to stay in a position where you still can springboard yourself up to that number 1, 2, or 3 spot coming into playoffs.
There's a lot of anxiety for a team that gets relegated this season. There's a long wait until potentially we bring back Contenders next year, and you sat down there waiting for the trials outcome. Your future is not set in stone. The situation gets very, very fluid in the off season.
Yeah, and the LFTs, they come thick and fast.
Straight onto Twitter. Faster than the sickest meme being dropped by the best memers. But Team Gigantti against Young and Beautiful for this final map. And you talked about a little bit, the conversations you had with the Gigantti coaching staff about how they were going to show us something a little bit different, a new play style. And we've interpreted that as the change that comes in here with Davin playing the Sombra. You put Zappis over to the Zarya. It has looked sublime today.
It's been neat. It's been real neat. I think that's probably my best way to describe it. It's just so clean, dude.
Clean, neat, toit.
It's toit, dude. It's toit. And really, when I was going for this map, I think it was when I predicted what was good, the outcome was going to come here. I think one of the things that I did say back then was that, Team Gigantti, they capitalized on mistakes really well. And I thought that's something that we're going to do. But what they've done more than that is they've had a really good game of Overwatch today too. I think they're the ones who haven't been making any mistakes either. They've been making some really insane plays. And I still think they have capitalized on a lot of mistakes for Young and Beautiful today. And I think, like you said earlier, the roster shuffle probably has been a little bit jarring for Young and Beautiful. But already, Rialto getting off to a good start. Nice bash hit back onto the platform there.
Tasty bit of tech there by Leaf to bring himself up to the high ground. Yiquit's now been hacked up. 50 God going over the top, looking for the boop into the team. He's coming back to try and help his fellow support because there's an assault from Davin coming in on the Sombra.
Guy in the back.
So it does halt the progress of the payload, and now they're stuck on this all-important corner.
Morphic, really low. I don't think he's had the best game of Sombra today, but I think he's had some really good and effective hacks. But really, the major thing that's been worrying for me is just constantly on low HP, constantly taking that repair pack away from Crandop.
Vital resource to throw over to your Reinhardt. Zappe now looking to heal up Milky Man with some resources of his own. And look what's just come online for him. The Nano Boost going straight in there. He just starts swinging away. Crandop's going to answer in the exact same way, but it's Milky Man to find the first kill with the Fire Strike. The healing's being amped by the Biotic Nade. Zappis finds the second kill of the fight. Young and Beautiful in full retreat. They don't want to commit anything more to this. They will come back with 2 ults on the board.
Recurring trend for Young and Beautiful is that Crandop moves forward. It's a massive telegraph for Team Gigantti. Crandop will move forward, won't quite have Earth Shatter. If Milky Man has Earth Shatter online, Team Gigantti are just walk past the shield, bro.
Just walk forward, forehead.
We'll whack a nano on you, and you can just wreak havoc in the back line. Morphic, 9 times out of 10, isn't even there to hack him.
Pathing up onto the high ground now, and I don't think there's a Lucio in position to knock them off there, because it's not the Diva doing it. You can see Lilbo back there, long-range hack coming in, shuts down Leaf. Not too urgent for him to have those abilities right now, as it's a very slow-paced movement from Young and Beautiful. Hooney's hacked up on the back line, will be gifted the armor pack by Yiquit's to keep him in the fight. Again, Crandop being denied that all-important resource as he pressed into the team. Goes for the pivot onto Milky Man with the shatter, but now they're hooked up by the grab, the rally, the amped healing coming in as well from Yab will sustain them throughout this fight. And Lilbo can't drop the sound barrier because he was hacked up. I don't know if Gigantti want to do this. They're chasing into the back line. They've been anti-naded, but they're finding the kills regardless. And they're going to force this one out, potentially getting stopped just shy of A.
The huge thing for Rialto is how many recontests you do get because the spawns are so close to that final point. Which is why so many teams hold so close at the beginning, because you get a potential 4 recontests. That's 4 potential fights all in all. Now Team Gigantti back on the point. Look at Davin, 78% towards that EMP that's been so good this entire series for them.
Milky Man taking those hands as he walked in there, but now it's Jonah's time to feel the pain. but the Graviton Surge will keep him at arm's distance. Yikwid's going down to the onslaught from Milky Man as Davin trying to protect the backline. Zappe to get the kill on Molf as he was trying to do what Davin's been doing to his team the entire time. And now he's got the EMP online, but I don't think Gigantti have to use it in this instance.
56 seconds now remaining here, Tridd. Crandop being punished.
Hacked!
And Zap is just getting the full value out of that, just charging up towards his Zarya Graviton.
Davin held a rag with the scent of Crandop in front of his trustworthy dog Zappis.
Come on,
to hunt him
get
down. You got him? You got him? Now hunt him down. That's exactly what he did. And Crandop, without the speed boost to move away and the hack, he was just walking ult charge.
It's the best way to describe Zappis at this moment because he is baring his teeth at Young and Beautiful at the moment. He's just terrifying as a hound. Young and Beautiful at the moment, they don't really have anything at all. Time is dwindling here, Tridd.
20 seconds and Davin, we're on board with him with the EMP. Zappis is about to get that grab. The hunt for Crandop paying off right now, and Crandop swinging that hammer scared. He wants to potentially catch Davin, who's hiding off to the side. He knows where Molf is. He's going to catch 4 members as Crandop is denied his shadow. The sound barrier coming in, the charge straight through the top, and no one could touch the point. This is so winnable for Team Gigantti.
It's one of the first times that Young and Beautiful haven't died. One member of Young and Beautiful hasn't died immediately after the EMP. Doesn't matter though. No one's on the payload. You completely grabbed off it. Now, like you say, Tridd, completely winnable. However, Rialto, much like Havana, is a map where a lot of teams do get held on this first point, and I alluded to it earlier. It's because you get so many recontests, so many times to really revamp that ultimate economy and hold on just for that few breaths longer. So there's still potential here for Young and Beautiful, but so far, Team Gigantti looks so good.
Young and Beautiful lining their hands with super glue. They're going to grab onto the rails and hopefully let that bad boy set, so they do not get ripped apart here, because like I said, they do not want to get 4-0'd here because it does have great implications for the standings. They're looking good right now, but they need to stay where they are if they want to guarantee themselves playoffs. Team Gigantti, they've already won the series. This is all about sending a message and claiming that first spot at the top of our standings to conclude this midway week.
Towards the beginning of the season, Young and Beautiful looked so strong. And I think one thing that they've had massive difficulty with has always been this Sombra. As she got more and more introduced into European contenders, right? It's just been more and more a problem for Young and Beautiful all in all, and they started to drop on those standings. I think if they can figure out how to deal with those EMP rotations, and Molfig has a little bit more time on his team, maybe they can bring this one back. But for the time being, Team Gigantti's reform playstyle, it looks so good. And I think the way they're playing it so far is really putting Young and Beautiful on the back foot all the time, and Molfig is just not able to keep up with Davin. Davin is just relatively safe all the time as well, and Milky Man constantly has that armor pack available to him. Nice first pick onto Leaf there. Will prevent this hold for a little bit longer, buy them 30 seconds. And that 30 seconds might not seem like a lot, Tridd, but in the grand scheme of things, here on point A, it's huge.
When you're talking about the number of recontests available, well, you know, you are running out of time to get those recontests, and you're running out of time to abuse the fact that you will have multiple fights if you've got no time in the tank. And now the payload's stagnated on this bridge. It's so dangerous. You're at risk of environmentals coming in here. And Milky Man's going to press forward. They finally removed Young and Beautiful, and they're going to force him back, and they're going to allow Team Gigantti to take the territory they want.
Yeah, they're going to walk on back here underneath the balcony, or it's a little bit safer, but Davin, already in the back line, hacks up Crandop.
You need to be faster on these flicks. Numlocked had a great video on Twitter where he was just constantly flicking back and forth. Where's that quick head on a swivel play? They do recover from it. Team Gigantti don't press the issue, and now they're going to. As Milky Man jumps down on top of him, Zappe's got the good LOS to keep Milky Man in the fight. Bionate to top him up as well. And then an ambush gets pumped in. The hack comes in just a second too late, but it was big. There's 6 members of Team Gigantti locked down, but that nano boost was enough for Milky Man to press forward. And now the training restraints have been removed. Team Gigantti had a la carte to use, but they didn't even need to do that. Young and Beautiful will grab them off the point to try and regain control. Molf taking out Milky Man, Jonify and Lilbo, but they're going to walk this one in. Yikwid has the nano brig to try and fight them off.
They really need to punish these late stragglers here. If they can't punish them, then they're going to get away free. And the big thing here is that Zappis gets away a high charge, means he's going to get that Graviton very, very quickly. What do Young and Beautiful have to deny that? Pretty much nothing. 75% on FD God coming towards that sound barrier. Well, a lot of times, Team Gigantti, they're able to just crush through that huge overshield and just take one person out of the way, because as we talked about before, it's that visceral focus fight which is so important.
The rally coming in. Milky Man's got the shatter. He needs to get behind the shield. He's out of LOS of Molf. He can't even get the hack in. And now he has to stand in front of him. The grab coming out from Zappis. Lilbo's hacked up, but he's not close to getting it. He takes that crown drop, dropping the hammer. Zappis takes out Molfig. It's just Jonah on the point as Hooney's been caught napping. And it will be rode in by Zappe. Team Gigantti get our second 4-0 of the season and find themselves at the top of our leaderboard.
Incredible game from Team Gigantti there, just all the way through. They seem revitalized, rejuvenated here, midway through the season, week 4. We're coming up to playoff territory. I know it seems far away. It's really not at this point.
3 weeks.
Yeah, we're closing in on that moment. And Team Gigantti, they're setting themselves up very well. Let's see how they look now in the standings.
We'll have a look at those as they come on your screen right now, after some highlights, of course. Davin is the man I want to talk about here, because this is the biggest change in Gigantti. It's that flex. Zappis on the Zarya, who actually played the Zarya pretty well.
He did, yeah.
And I guess that kind of enables this plan they want to go for. And Davin's this player who's gone through different stages, different upgrades, and he's had to adapt to very prominent metas here in EU. He was a damn fine tracer when it came into that, when that was the style, that was the flavor. Then he's having to play the Zarya, and he's been pretty good. He's been contending with the heavy hitters. And now it feels like he's just added another facet of his gameplay with this Sombra. He's back again, Davin 2.0, harder, better, faster, stronger, coming in, and just pushing Gigantti to this next echelon of play.
It's just constantly evolving, right? And I